Have you ever looked at your life and asked, why is this happening to me? Maybe you tried your best, you were honest, you were kind, and still things went wrong. Or maybe you did something you are not proud of, something you regret, and you've been waiting ever since for the punishment to arrive. And somewhere along the way, someone said to you, it's all karma. And you nodded. Because that word karma seems to explain everything. But here's a question I want you to sit with for the next few minutes. What if everything you believed about karma was only half the picture? What if karma is not about punishment, not about reward, not about the universe keeping score on you? What if karma is actually about something far more powerful than that? What if karma is about freedom? Let's find out answers to all these questions. Most of us grew up with the version of karma that sounds something like this. Do something bad will come back to you. Do something good, and good things will follow. Simple, clean, like a cosmic vending machine. You put in kindness, you get kindness back. You put in cruelty, you get pain back. On the surface, that sounds fair and sounds comforting. But this understanding of karma has a serious problem. Because if that is truly how karma works, then every time something painful happens to you, you must have deserved it. Every illness, every accident, every heartbreak, every loss. Someone says, your business failed, that's your karma. Your child fell sick, must be karma. You were in the wrong place at the wrong time, karma. Do you see how quickly this becomes dangerous? It turns karma into a weapon, a way to blame people for their own suffering, and it turns karma into fear, a reason to be afraid of every mistake you make. But that's not what the gurus taught. That's not what the Gurbani teaches us. That's not what the deep wisdom of karma or karma is actually saying. So let's go deeper. Let's look at what karma really means. The word karma comes from the Sanskrit root kri, which simply means to do. Karma means action, karma. And with every action comes a consequence. That is all karma is at its foundation. Not punishment, not reward, not fate, just the simple, honest truth that every action has an effect. Think about it in your own life. If you eat well, sleep properly, and exercise, your body becomes stronger. That's a consequence of action. If you practice an instrument every day for a year, you'll be able to play things you could not play before. That's a consequence of action. If you speak harshly to the people around you, over time they will stop trusting you. That is also a consequence of action. None of these are punishments. None of these are rewards handed down by some judge in the sky. They are simply the natural, logical outcome of what we do. That is karma. Now, here is where it gets really interesting because karma does not begin with what you do with your hands. Karma begins with what happens in your mind. Before every action, there is an intention. Think about this simple example. Two people give money to someone in need. The first person gives because they genuinely want to help. They feel compassion. They do not want anything in return, no expectations involved. The second person gives because they want others to see them giving. They want to look generous. They want the applause. The action looks the same from the outside, but the karma is completely different. In Gurbani, this is understood very clearly. It's not just what you do, it's why you do it and how you do it. Guru Nanak Ji did not teach a religion of performance or outer acts. He taught a path of inner transformation. And that transformation begins in the mind, with intention, with awareness, with honesty about why you are doing what you are doing. So every time you are about to act, the real karmic question is not just, what am I doing? The deeper question is, why am I doing this? Now, this is one of the most important things I want you to understand today. Karma is not fate. Many people hear the word karma and think whatever is going to happen will happen. It's all already decided. But that is not karma. That is fatalism. And it's the opposite of what karma actually teaches. Your past actions have created certain tendencies, certain patterns, certain conditions in your life today. That is true. But your past does not imprison you. Every moment, every single moment, you have the power to create new karma. Think about it like a river. The river has been flowing in a certain direction for years. There's a groove, there's a channel, a path it naturally follows. But you can redirect a river with effort, with intention, with consistent work over time. Your life is the same. Your habits, your tendencies, your patterns, these are the groove the river has carved. But you are not the groove. You are the one who can pick up the shovel and carve a new path. That is the teaching. That is the hope in the doctrine of karma. You are not a prisoner of your past, you are a creator of your future. Now, let me address something that causes a lot of pain and confusion. When someone gets cancer, people say it must be their karma. When a child is born with disability, people say it's a karma from their past life. When someone loses everything in a flood or earthquake, someone will say, what did they do to deserve this? This is a misunderstanding and a harmful one. The gurus never taught that every illness, every accident, every tragedy is a direct punishment for something you did. Life is complex. Life includes uncertainty. Life includes things beyond our control. A good person can get sick. A generous person can lose everything. An innocent child can suffer. This does not mean they deserved it. This does not mean karma failed. It means that life is not a simple equation. What karma teaches is not that every bad thing is your fault. Karma teaches that how you respond to what happened to you creates new seeds for your future. You cannot always control what happens to you, but you can always make a choice about what you do next. That choice, that response, that is where your karma, your karma lives. This is perhaps the most practical and useful understanding of karma for your daily life. Karma works through habits. Every time you do something, you are not just doing it once, you are making it slightly easier to do the same thing again. An angry person who expresses anger over and over again becomes more angry, not because they are being punished, but because they have strengthened the pathways of anger in their mind. A person who practices patience every day becomes more patient, not because they are being rewarded, but because patience has become their default response. A person who lies frequently finds it harder and harder to be honest, not because some external curse, but because deception has become a habit of the mind. And on the other side, a person who chooses kindness again and again, even when it's difficult, even when nobody notices, that person becomes kind. It stops being an effort, it becomes who they are. In Gurbani, there's a beautiful wisdom about this. We are shaped by our sangat, our company, our environment, and what we repeatedly expose ourselves to and practice. You become what you repeatedly do. That's not poetry. That is the science of karma. So look at your daily habits. What are they making you? If you start every morning with anger, scrolling through things that disturb you, arguing, complaining, you are building an angrier version of yourself, day by day, brick by brick. If you start every morning with gratitude, with stillness, with remembrance of something greater than yourself, you are building a calmer, wiser version of yourself, day by day, brick by brick. Your habits are your karma in action. Here's something subtle but very powerful. People think karma means I do good things, then good things happen around me. But there is something that happens first. Before karma changes your circumstances, it changes you. Every action you take shapes the mind that performed it. When you are honest, even when it costs you something, you become a more honest person. You build trust in yourself. You become someone you can rely on. When you choose to forgive, even when you had every right to hold a grudge, you become freer, you become lighter, you release yourself from a prison. When you serve others without expecting anything in return, something happens inside you, a sense of purpose, a sense of connection, a kind of quiet joy that does not depend on anyone's approval. The first person transformed by your karma is always you. And this is important because sometimes we do good things and we look around and say, but nothing changed. Everything changed. You changed. And that is not a small thing because a changed person sees differently, makes different choices, creates different relationships, moves through the world in a different way. Your circumstances will follow, but the transformation begins inside. This one might surprise you. Even if you live with honesty, compassion, and wisdom, you will still experience pain. You will still experience loss. You will still get sick. You will still face difficulty. Good karma is not a protection from being human. Think about the greatest teachers, saints, gurus in our history. They did not have easy lives. They faced rejection, suffering, persecution. They lost people they loved. They experienced hardship. So, what was the point of their being good? The point was not that they avoided suffering, the point was how they carried it. A person with deep, clean karma does not face less difficulty, they face it differently, with more clarity, with less fear, with more grace. A person who has cultivated patience does not have fewer frustrating situations, they respond to frustration differently. A person who has cultivated trust in something greater does not have fewer doubts. They walk through doubt differently. Good karma does not build walls around you. Good karma builds you. And a person who has been built well can walk through almost anything. We live in an age of instant results. We post something and we want the likes immediately. We start a diet and we want to see the difference in a week. We do something kind and we feel we deserve something good in return by the end of the day. But karma does not work on your schedule. Some consequences show up quickly. You speak harshly to a friend and they pull away immediately. You eat badly for a week and your body tells you right away. But other karma ripens slowly, very slowly. The years you spent being dishonest in small ways quietly erode people's trust in you. And one day you realize nobody believes you anymore. And you cannot trace it back to a single moment. The years you spent building a skill quietly, patiently, with no immediate recognition, suddenly become the reason someone gives you an opportunity that changes everything. The seeds of goodness you plant in a child's heart might not bloom until they are 40 years old, but they will bloom. Karma ripens in its own time, not yours. This is why consistency matters more than intensity. It's better to be a little bit kind every day than to perform a grand act of kindness once and then forget about it. It's better to be honest in small moments than to be heroically honest once. It's the daily practice, the daily choices, the daily intention that builds something lasting. You cannot go back and undo yesterday. I know that's hard thing to hear if you are carrying regret. If there are actions in your past that you wish you could take back, words you said that you cannot unsay, moments you wasted or people you hurt. You cannot change what has already been done. But here is the truth the gurus want you to hold. You can change the direction of your future starting from this moment, not tomorrow, not when things are perfect, not when you feel you are ready. Now, the seed you plant today will determine what you harvest in the seasons ahead. If you have been planting seeds of anger, bitterness, dishonesty, or indifference, you do not have to keep planting those seeds. You can plant something different today. One honest conversation, one moment of patience you would normally not have chosen, one act of kindness to someone who cannot give you anything in return. These are seeds, small seeds. They do not look like much. But the Guru's teachings tell us a small seed planted in the right soil with care and consistency becomes something that gives shade to many. You are that soil. Start today. Now, let us come back to the question we began with. If everything is karma, am I trapped by my past? Here is the answer. Think of a field that has been growing weeds for years. Must it always remain a field of weeds? No. It can be cultivated, it can be cleared, new seeds can be planted with time and care and consistent effort. That same field can grow something beautiful and nourishing. That field is your mind, your life, your character. Karma does not trap you. The misunderstanding of karma traps you. The real teaching of karma is the most hopeful message in the world. Your choices matter, every single one. Not just the big choices, not just the dramatic moments, the small choices, the daily ones, the ones nobody sees. The way you speak to your family when you are tired, the way you handle money when no one is watching, the way you treat someone who can do nothing for you, the way you talk to yourself in the quiet of your own mind. These choices are shaping you right now, in this moment, and they will continue to shape you tomorrow and the next year and for as long as you are alive. That is not a burden. That is the greatest gift you have ever been given, the gift of choice, the gift of the present moment, the gift of the power to begin again. So let me leave you with this. Karma is not the universe keeping score. Karma is not punishment for your past. Karma is not a guarantee of reward. Karma is the simple, profound, liberating truth that every thought shapes the mind. Every action shapes the character, and every choice shapes the path ahead. You are not a victim of your karma, you are the author of it. So be mindful, be deliberate about what you plant in the soil of your mind today. Because today's thoughts become tomorrow's habits. Today's habits become next year's character, and your character becomes your life. The Guru's message was never meant to make you afraid, it was meant to wake you up. You have more power than you think. Use it well. ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ